welcome back to the channel. We doing a little bit of work on the bobber, the GL1100 that we bobbed a couple of years back. So to get compliance in the country here, I've got to put the front brakes back on and do a few other odds and ends. I had upgraded the handlebars to 1-inch bars, kind of like mini ape hangers from the 7/8 bars that were stock. So changing out then controls and everything, and they ended up putting some aftermarket Harley style switches and stuff on the bars, and of course their left and right signals are split, left side and right side, whereas all the Japanese bikes always have them on the left side on the one switch. So that was fine, but they were momentary switches, not on-off switches like on the Jap bikes. And so I picked up that M unit, or what's it called? Not M unit, but that kit which converts the signal from just a momentary. So it's this little guy here. It's basically a relay, but it's all digital in there, and so it'll do a bunch of different things. You press just momentary switch, just tap it, and it'll blink 3 times and then shut off, like if you're changing lanes. If you press it, hold it, and then release it, it turns it on, and then you just tap it again to turn it off. And then if you touch both left and right signals together, it turns on hazard. So it's a slick little unit. I'll wire that in today, take you guys on that journey. And then the other thing I got to do is I got to put, like I said, the front brakes back on. So I was running the GL1100, the Goldwing, runs one disc on the front wheel off of the actual hand control, and then it runs the other side front disc and the rear disc off of the rear brake pedal through a proportioning valve, and it runs like 60% pressure to the front and 40 to the back. So I was just running it off the pedal, and I took the handbrake off because it makes a nice clean look. But to get it complied here, I'll have to have a front brake lever, and so I had kept all the old hardware, so I'm just going to put it straight back on. The problem is, as I said earlier, I upgraded from 7/8 to 1-inch bars, so I'll flip it around here. So the factory lever is a 7/8 bar, and I need to hog that out to 1-inch. So I picked up this ridiculously expensive 1-inch drill bit. It's actually a 25mm, not a 25.4, but it should be close enough. I can hog it out a little bit. So I've got this die grinder thing out here. So on here I'm gonna have, there's a couple of nubs from the way that the factory mounted them, which I'm not doing. So this locked into the old plastic housing so it wouldn't slide and stuff, just for ease of installation in the factory. But in order to drill it nicely, I'm going to take that off, smooth that out, and clean them up a bit. But fortunately then I'll have my my brake light switch here on the bottom. You can see that there, and that was all working when I took it off. I did take it all apart because this banjo bolt and the corresponding hose here is just all corroded, so I gotta clean that all up, get that all looking nice again. And fortunately this hose is going to be like just long enough with the ape hangers on here. I thought I might have to get a new hose, but fortunately that's the case. And then I believe I have my brackets from the other side still hanging around here. So I've got this caliper back on. This hose runs up here. I'll run it through there. And then I've got to put my disc on. So I'll have to pull that front wheel off and try not to land the old bike on the Rambler there. So I'll get this back on today, and then hopefully get that turn signal wired in. So that'll be just going in under here. I don't know if you can actually see there's the fuse panels right there. I just got to pop the tank off. Everything's all just right underneath that tank there. So I've got this all mounted up and connected in, and it's just like just the perfect amount of cable, or of hose. I've just got it loose right now because I got a wire in this. So this is the common ground, whatever you want to call it, for all the circuits in here. It's joined back under here and then splits off and goes to, you see it there as well, going into this block here. This is the turn signal switch, and see how that all works good. But it's just a momentary switch. I'll turn that off. So this is my brake line signal wire. So this completes the circuit here. This is actually a power, not a ground. And then this completes the circuit. And so then that was just capped off underneath here. So I pulled this sheeting back. That's this purple guy here. And now it's this blue one coming out because I don't have any purple wire. So I'll label that, and then that I've got to find in here the brake light switch link loop, and I think it's going to be something like that. But what I'll do is this is the brake light switch for the back here, and so it's going to be the same color of wire wherever that goes up to. That goes up in there somewhere. So I'll find that brake light color, and it'll be the same color up in here. And then once I get that sorted, I got to figure out why my headlight doesn't go on. Oh, I think I blew a fuse, and my brake light doesn't go on. So there's a few wiring gremlins to work through here. So as you can see, I've delved right into this wiring. So the Goldwing originally came with a automatic turn signal canceling unit, which looks like this. And so we've got signals coming in here. What they had done is on the head unit here, there's a switch right here, and then where's my cable for that? That cable had 3 lines coming out of it. Obviously it's a ground switch, so there was a ground and then a left and a right cancel or whatever signal. So then those go into the unit here, and then our signal grounds, which are this is pretty standard for all Hondas of this vintage. We had orange with the white stripe, blue with the white stripe, and then in the head itself, you've got a solid blue and a solid orange that correspond. So they were running with a wired ground for all of their indicators. In most aftermarket, you just run the ground to the frame, which is what I'm doing here. So these turn signals obviously have a ground and a power coming out of them. And so what I've done here is I've isolated the left signal, the right signal, the left turn, and the right turn. So the turn are the actual lights. Signals are the signal lines coming from the switch here. And then the other line for that switch is just a straight ground, which it's already grounded here into this big contraption of grounds here, and green grounds everywhere. So then I've also plugged in my brake line signal switch into this plug-in. I'll just show you quickly. These plugins are pretty slick. I just bought this kit off Amazon. You have to buy the accompanying special crimping tool for it. So as you can see on the tool head, there's a step in there. So there's 3 sizes available in this tool, and then there's a step. So the side that's larger than the other is the side where your wire wants to sit on. And when they're crimped, the terminals end up these factory style ones. So that's not very clear. There you go. So you just have to strip a tiny little bit so it clamps onto the actual insulation here, and then this clamps directly to to the bare wire, and then these slide into a corresponding block. So this block here is for the female side, so that's just a regular spade connector, but it snaps in there. And then this block here will end up, these spades will end up sticking through, and there'll be 6 of them in here. The kit comes with doubles, 4, 6s, and 9s, and they actually are the same size as the factory ones, so you can actually interchange these if you don't want to. If you want to rewire this side but not this, sometimes they don't come out of here very nicely. And so there's that's a slick little kit. So yeah, what I've done is this gray signal line was originally going to the factory blinker terminal, and so I'm actually using that as a ground now. So that's going to ground my headlights at the front, and I can also use that as a ground for my brake light. So this is going to be deleted. This black line is a power line here, and then this unit here also has a ground and a power, which I'm going to use because this will be deleted, because I don't. These are those signal lines from the head triple tree, the signals telling it when it's back to center basically. And then these are, like I said, the negative for the lights, and then I've got ground and power. And these two I haven't isolated yet here, this black with the white stripe and this blue with the black stripe. So I'll isolate those, but essentially this unit will be obsolete. I'll take it out of here, we'll clean up some of that wiring. And the green here is fused in the pan in here, so we'll use that again. Sorry, not the green, the brown white is fused on the existing signal there, and that's actually labeled on your Goldwing panel here as turn cancel. So this is the turn cancellation unit, and then we've also got horn stop turn up here. This 15 amp is feeding the this guy here, the signal relay. So I can use either one of those. I'll just use the turn cancel because it's already all together here. So I'll keep going on that. All right, so I got it all figured out. I've just got one more plug-in I'm gonna clean up and swap this around because I got my horn figured out. So basically, horn's super simple. I've got 12 volt comes in on the white green from the circuit board here, from the relay board, circuit board, fuse board, fuse panel, there you go, that one. It runs out, goes up to the switch, which, it runs into here. This plugs into the horn, and then this light green comes from the switch, and the switch goes to ground. So all it's doing is the switch is completing the circuit to ground through the horn, and so that's working. And then I got my Mo relay is wired in with a nice plug in here, so I'm gonna have to tidy all of this up yet. So now when you tap the switch, it'll go three goes and then turn off. If you hold the switch down momentarily, it'll blink for 10 goes. And then if you hold it down for a long time, it'll just keep blinking until you turn it off, and you just tap it to turn it off. And then if you hold this one and the other one down, so it's doing the same function. So one tap does 3, a long tap will do 10. And then hold it down for a good amount and it'll just stay on. And then if you hold that button down and this button down, here I won't be able to hold this at the same time, but if you do that, then they, here, maybe I can prop this up here. So then they both go, and the flash is like 4-way flashers, which most bikes didn't have in this era. So it's kind of slick that works now. And then again, you just tap either one of them and that shuts them both off. So that's super slick. Works on LEDs, works on incandescent, and it's not load dependent. So if one's out, like right now, my ground here isn't very good, so this light's not coming on. I got to dig into that yet, but it's not load dependent, so they don't flash like super fast or anything like typical relays do, or flasher relays do if you put LEDs on. And you can go up to, I think it's 8 bulbs on one side, so you can go crazy with the lights as well. Super slick, really easy. All I did was bypass all the old crap, and all it does is it takes a positive fused and negative. It takes the signal line from the switches, and those are from ground through the switch into the unit, so they're grounding out. And then it sends out positive 12 volt to the lights, and then you can run those straight to ground, straight to the body ground, or back to a ground terminal, or however you want to do it. So super simple. It bypasses all of the other crap that these bikes came with and everything. And then in the process today, I've been going through, and there's a lot of wires that I hadn't ever hooked up because I deleted a bunch of stuff, and this had the fairing before, right? So it had like voltmeter and all sorts of stuff in here. And so these are the last 3, there's 3 wires in here, the 2 blacks and the yellow, which are my starter and kill switch relay. And so I'm gonna run those and the horn through a nice little 4-plug thing, get rid of all this. I've deleted a whole bunch, like all these wires. There was a fused power here, and this was a signal wire for something, I think for a radio or something like that. And so I've deleted all that back, and so tidy that all up nicely, and try and get rid of the whole big rat's nest. I've got wires all over the ground in here, so yeah. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to post a link to the video to someone that you think might enjoy the channel or whatever like that. And keep watching, and we'll be back with another video shortly.